It's bad. It's really bad. Well, you know what they say, the most expensive Mercedes is also the cheapest Mercedes, and only someone dumb would buy something like this. Well, I guess I'm the dumb one because I bought the cheapest and the highest case Mercedes E500 W211 in the country. And in this video, I'll tell you the story of like how this car ended up being a disaster, and I sold it at a loss and I took another L. So I mean, what can I say? This is my new car. It's a Mercedes-Benz W211 E500. So it has the M113 5-liter V8 in it. Just picked it up. It's actually super clean, and it's actually one of the cheapest in Australia. It's bad. It's really bad. Yeah, so it started off around like during Christmas. I was bored, and again I'm looking at Facebook Marketplace, Gumtree, car sales, or something like fun under $10,000, something to like just have that experience. I tend to always buy nuggets. So I didn't came across this ad directly, but it's sort of like those ads in Gumtree. It says like you might also like this. Well, this popped up. It's the highest case, and it's the cheapest in the country, at least on like retail wise. So it was 290,000 case. It's $7,500. I'm like, no, like what could possibly go wrong? Because these cars, they have the M113 engines, and they were bulletproof. I mean, they are bulletproof, right? They are known to last for like hundreds of thousands of kilometers without breaking a sweat. So I thought, you know what could possibly go wrong? So I messaged the guy, and I went to have a look at the car. So upon inspection, it's apart from like the interior, because the interior is beige, every single dirt and blemishes would show up in those kind of interiors. And being 290,000 Ks, obviously the interior is not looking like the best. The seat position is not 100% functional. They're just little things here and there that didn't work. The car just fired right up. It's awesome. Paid him a deposit. Picked it up a few days later because I need to organize the transport and stuff. Picked the car up, and I loved it. These cars have air suspension, and it's one of the most comfortable cars that I've ever driven. I feel like a grandpa driving this car, right? Because they're just not the most like aggressive, modern looking Mercedes. It's one of like the older Mercedes that still targets like the older people. Modern Mercedes, their demographic is more towards like the younger people. So everything in this car just shouts my grandpa's car. And one weird thing about that is the brakes. They have this weird SBC brake-by-wire system. The pre-facelift W211s, they have the SBC pumps. And two things that normally goes wrong with this car is the SBC pump and the air suspension, right? The SBC pump has been serviced, so I'm not too worried about it. The second thing is the air suspension. It didn't really sink. And also, it didn't really have that much issues when I'm driving it, right? It doesn't seem to leak air. It doesn't seem to do any of that. All right, so I was enjoying this car. The only mod that is being done to these cars is that they took off the secondary cap and the resonators, so it sounds amazing. It's not like loud, like in your face, but it has a nice V8 tone to it. So I drove it around for like a month, enjoying it, and one day, like parked the car overnight and it just sank, right? And I had an error light on the dash and saying like, bring it to a workshop immediately. Okay, so I'm getting an error. It says like stop like car too low, and I'm actually driving the car. It's actually quite dangerous, and I hope it doesn't scrape. It's bad, it's bad. And the suspension would not go up. Like, what is going on? Other than that, there are basically no errors on this car. So I went to, I brought it into like the first workshop. He's like, nope, I'm not touching it. I'm like, I guess, you know, like, they don't like money for some reasons. We'll go to a second workshop and they're like, oh, we are booked for like 3 months, right? We wouldn't do your car for like the next 3 months. I'm like, and all these shops are reputable shops, you know, they have really good reviews. So just a quick update on this. So I'm driving basically like slammed to the ground, and it's actually throwing a code, asked me not to drive this car. And so like I went to like 2 shops. One shop just didn't want to touch it. The second shop, they're completely like booked out. So now it left me with the option to actually go to a original mechanic that actually worked on this car, and they have like a bit of history with it. So I'm just gonna bring this car to them. It's about like 30-minute drive. It's going to be very nerve-wracking because like the whole thing just slammed to the ground. So it's gonna be very interesting driving experience, and I'll keep you guys updated. When I brought it in, it took like a day to diagnose the problem, and they sort of like fixed it, and they told me like it was the right height sensor. The best is just to replace it, but for now it's fine. I'm like, cool. Paid the diagnostic fee. It was like $200 or so or something. It was okay for like 2 days, and then it happened again. The whole car just basically slammed to the ground. I'm like, what is going on? Rang them back and brought it back, and then that, yep, we'll look into it. I'll give you a quote for the height sensor. They gave me a ring and they wanted $2,000 to replace right height sensor. I'm like, I know it's only a sensor, so I looked at the part on the internet. It was $60. They want to sell me for the right height sensor for $600, and he's like, oh, it has to come from overseas. Also, like the labor is like $1,400. I'm like, these are dealership prices, and this is like an independent Mercedes workshop. I'm like, I just walked out of there, and she told me before I walked out of there, she told me like, it's better if you get rid of this car because like it seems to have electrical issues that is hiding underneath. We couldn't figure out what it is. They said they spent the whole day diagnosing the car, which I don't really believe. Normally shops, they have like multiple cars and they will just work on one, and they might just want to try to sound like they worked on the car for the whole day, but really like diagnosing a car, it doesn't take that long, especially if you do the right diagnostics equipment. It doesn't take long to diagnose one of these cars. I take it as a grain of salt. I don't want to spend any money on this car. It's already 290,000 Ks. So I just like took some good pictures, cleaned up, and posted on Facebook Marketplace for $9,000, hoping, you know, like I could make a profit. Well, the most cars is like $12,000-$15,000. I guess like, you know, $9,000 for a higher case car, it might be a pretty good deal. One guy lost his license, and he recently got his license back. He came and he had a look at the car. He's like, oh, I like this. This is an AMG, yeah? I'm like, no, it's not. It's an E500. But they're the same thing, yeah? I'm like, no, they are not. I'm like, for sake, I'm like, yeah, even to think it's an AMG, then, you know, like, whatever it is, whatever works for you. So he's convinced that this is an AMG, which, you know, like, I'm a huge Mercedes fan, so I know what an AMG is. He was hard. He was bargaining. He like, at this point, I really want to get rid of this car because, you know, like, of the who knows, like, there's bunch of like hidden issues. He offered me $7,000. You know, I counted like 75, hoping to get my money back. It didn't. I sold for $7,200, and you know, like, that's how I took another L, another experience. If I were to buy another one of these, I will get the facelift version. Well, if I were to buy another one of these, I will find a clean example. Are they worth owning? Hell yeah, they are really fun and they are really comfortable. It feels right. They make somewhere like 300 horsepower. The torque is pretty insane. So yeah, like, I highly recommend it. It's highly underrated if you want a fun daily that is not a boring V6 or like a 4-banger. This is pretty good. If you can find one low case, the SBC has been taken care of, the air suspension has been taken care of, they are actually pretty decent cars, right? And yeah, this is basically my story of my E500, and you know, like, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Now, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll really appreciate if you can show us your support by liking this video, subscribing, hitting the bell, or maybe share it with your friends, because it will really help out to grow this channel, right? Now, with that being said, right, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.